Hello, hello, oh, there we go. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Cataclysm pre-patch, where this is a late evening stream, and I wanted to just hop into the game and kind of just run around the road and explore a bunch of different things with the Cataclysm pre-patch. Bit of a rough start there, but speaking of rough starts, it seems like the Cataclysm pre-patch is a little bit of a rough start to the Cataclysm Classic experience here in World of Warcraft, where it seems like there are a ton of issues with this pre-patch. Where with the Cataclysm Classic beta, there were a ton of issues in the beta. Apparently, I did not play the beta, but I was like reading through like bug reports and like people talking about their experience playing the beta, and it seemed to be kind of a mess. And it seems like with the Cataclysm pre-patch, the beta did not help too much. I'm sure it helped in some capacity, but it seems like there are still a ton of issues where I've noticed some things. I've disconnected like 15 times today so far, which is kind of interesting. And even on like the server that I was playing on that is being shut down, there's like a ton of people running around on that server, and I was still disconnecting from that server, which is interesting. But there's a wide variety of bugs. Probably one of the most notable bugs is how level 10 players could do a single Warsong Gulch like game, or two Warsong Gulch games, and go from like level 10 to level 80, which is kind of insane, where people were getting like 10 levels per like flag cap. And I think it's looks like we can queue for it in the level 80 bracket, but I believe in like the other brackets you cannot queue for it, where there are a ton of changes with Cataclysm Classic, where I just want to run through the world and kind of explore a wide variety of different things, where we can go ahead and pick up a quest of personal summons, where we can go to Orgrimmar and we get the special Veterans Hearthstone, which is fun. Don't forget to bind your own Hearthstone when you reach Orgrimmar. So it looks like this gets used up with the quest. So we can bind our Hearthstone to Orgrimmar, or we could just leave our Hearthstone in Dalaran, which gets us to Northrend, and then we can just take the portal to Orgrimmar. But here's the classic Cataclysm Kalimdor loading screen art. I remember this a lot. And of course it has changed a lot over time, where we are taken to one of the new inns, which is fun. And it looks like we did use up the Hearthstone, where there are a ton of different changes with Cataclysm, of course, where the world looks a lot more like the retail world nowadays. But of course there's like a ton of gameplay changes that we can do, where I just want to kind of run around and explore everything, where we have our new talent system that I can go ahead, and I was trying to decide if I wanted to play Unholy or Frost, where I originally was playing Frost in like Wrath Lich King Classic, and then there's a Goblin Rogue there. But like Unholy was doing like a lot better in like open road. But I think I'm going to go ahead and try Frost again here in Cataclysm Classic, and then we can go ahead and switch over to Unholy if I decide I want to do that. What's the best choices here? Maybe that. I feel like, is On a Pale Horse the same as it is in Wrath? Yes, it is. Since I'm not planning on doing too many like raiding things, I'll probably pick that. Undead, I guess, why not? Do we want to obliterate? Maybe increase our runic power. These are horrible decisions and don't do what I'm doing, but I just want to go ahead. And I think I might actually have to go to Acris so I can train, but we'll see. I think that's good. That seems very good. I'll probably change my talents up later. Do you want Pillar of Frost? Yeah, that increases strength. I should just have that in case I'm ever in a group. I think Brittle Bones is good. Hungering Cold, improved Frost Presence. I think I want the procs. So when dual wielding or with two-handed weapons, I think I want to go dual wielding, even though I don't have that set up right now. And then I'll just pick that. And then we have 5 extra talent points, where don't go Increases the... Do we want to increase duration? Probably increase damage and then unholy command. And then let's learn all of that. Okay. So this is, of course, the brand new talent system, where it's actually really similar to the classic WoW talent system. It isn't until Mist of Pandaria where the talent system is like completely overhauled in a brand new way, where a lot of people have like different opinions about like the Cataclysm like talent system. But I think when it comes to like this expansion, the talents are pretty solid. Where, what glyphs do I have? So Prime. I just put one there. Is it in Cataclysm where you just learn the glyph and then you have it? I think that's the case. Major glyphs. That's all I have. Okay, let's come into our skill bar here, where I don't know why all my stuff got messed up, but change of ice are still there. Let's throw Hunger and Cold here maybe, and then I'll probably fix this in the future. I want to start exploring some stuff. Frost Strike, definitely. I think we have Pestilence on our bar. We don't have Death Coil on our bar. We don't have Death and Decay on our bar. Army of the Dead's over there. We want Plague Strike, right? Blood Strike doesn't do... Yeah, it just increases. But we want this for self-sustain, and then maybe that, and then Strangulate. Yeah, it is. And then how about we'll throw Obliterate there. Okay. So I just threw together some random talents and like skills, and I'll probably change that in the future. Or maybe I won't. I'll just rock this for the rest of the expansion. Where with the pre-patch, we do have everything changed in the world. So of course we can see that Orgrimmar is updated, and if we run out into Durtar, it is of course updated. Where I wanted to try this out in a little bit. I think we can go to like the 5 or 4 new maps. I don't think we can get to Deepholm right now. But we can't do any of the quests there, I believe. Or if we can, we cannot get any experience from doing the quests, so there's like not really any point unless you're just trying to get early on questing. But we'll go ahead and explore that. But we can learn flying, where I picked up a quest. Did I complete it? Make haste to Orgrimmar completed. Okay, so I just completed the... Oh, no. I just completed that quest when I got to Orgrimmar, which is interesting. But of course, we got Eitrig with some Forsaken and Blood Elves around here. And then, of course, Garrosh Hellscream.
By these words, Loktar Ogar, victory or death.
A War Chief for 2 more expansions. Where we could do enemies below, which is fun. Where... Does Ridgefire Chasm change a lot in this expansion? Maybe we should run through it. Oh god, this UI. Yeah, the UI is not fully developed for the pre-patch, which is kind of weird. And it looks like... it's only showing the Cataclysm stuff right now, and none of the Burning Crusade, Wrath, or Vanilla dungeons. Also, when I logged in earlier, speaking of which, I should go to the mailbox. I noticed I got like all the exploration like achievements, which I think is partially because it's account wide now. But I don't think I've explored every single zone, so I think it just like automatically did it for me. And that's the case when I went to the map, where like all of the maps are like completely filled in now. So it like shows that I've explored every single zone, which is interesting, but it doesn't show the new zones, of course. But mailbox. Oh, it's a new month. Where we got currency conversion for badges of justice. So we got 42 gold there. And then 132 gold there. And then I threw some stuff on the auction house last stream, and it looks like it all sold, which is fun. Yeah, for the most part, Orgrimmar, pretty much the same as it is in Retail WoW, where it hasn't updated a lot over the years. maybe like the biggest thing right now that most people will recognize is that this area becomes like the trading posts that was introduced with Dragonflight. But let's go ahead and go to the central section of the city, which I remember there's an elevator up here. I don't think I ran up here in a very long time, because whenever I run through here in retail law, I just fly up. But I don't have flying unlocked. Oh, okay. We'll wait for the next one. I don't have flying unlocked just yet. Where I believe we can go ahead and unlock it, and it's actually pretty cheap, I think. Where a lot of the flying systems across the game has been updated with Cataclysm, where we can probably check it out on my Night Elf Druid when I get there. But there's been like a price reduction for Alton's flying, where it's like half the cost now. And you can just do it on like any level 68 character. You don't have to go to like your level 80 character to buy a book to then send to your level 68. And then I think mount training across the board became cheaper. But we also got the quartermasters now, which is fun. And we also have, I don't think this was introduced until Warlords of Draenor, but we now have the appearances tab, where we can go ahead and collect these appearances, which is fun. But flying trainer, so we can get the master riding, allows the player to ride fast flying mounts at the highest possible speed. I forget if in Cataclysm you need the mount or if it's just like any mount. Let's go ahead and just get this one first. So Flight Master's license allows you to fly in Eastern Kingdoms, Kalimdor, and Deepholm. So now can go ahead and get on our flying mount, and we can now fly around Orgrimmar, and that's 280%. So if you come to the flight master here, breaking the sound barrier, and if you mount up now, that is 310%. So that is how it works. You don't need Ashes of Alar or the Violet Proto Drake or whatever anymore to fly 310. But we can go ahead and run around the road a little bit where, oh, I'm already at the max height. I wanted to see if we could get into Cataclysm maps, which so far it kind of seems like we can't if we can only fly up this high, which is interesting. But I've been running through like Cataclysm in my Season of Discovery Let's Play series, where I've been like comparing and contrasting like World of Warcraft over the years. So I've been showing how it has changed in the world. So I've gone through like every single Cataclysm zone as of the episode that releases in 11 hours and 4 minutes. So I guess that's a spoiler for the next episode. But I go over the rest of the zones. Where I think with my Cataclysm streams, I'm not really planning on doing too much in the old world, though I do have some stuff I want to do related to Let's Play series that I talked about, with like Worgen and Goblins potentially. But we're inside Mount Hyjal. We got Aronis right here. It's we got inside Mount Hyjal, but it teleported us out, and it teleported us to the other side. That's right. Yeah, okay, so you just get teleported straight out. So you cannot explore the zones, even though they're there. So it looks like Questy is probably right, where these zones are just right there. And I've uncovered some of the map. I wonder if there's like a zone. I don't think there are. If you could like fly around the complete like outer edge of the zone and like fly in as fast as you can to like uncover as many areas. I don't think you can uncover a whole Cataclysm zone that way. I think they're too big and you can't get to the center in time. Got some Winter Spring here. Where I guess let's go to Akris, because I want to check out and show Shadowfang Keep and the Deadmines, because they got completely overhauled in Cataclysm, where there's actually a heroic version of those two dungeons available at level 85, but then there's like the new versions are available at like level 14 or whatever. There's a lot of Death Knights here. I guess while I'm here, Let's go check out my trainer. Because you still need to learn skills, but you only need to learn it the first time. Plate specialization, mastery, which is like the new stat. Festering strike, new an instant attack that deals 150% weapon damage plus 867, increases the duration of your blood plague, frost fever, and chains of ice effects on the target by up to 6 seconds. Runic empowerment, and then looks like 85, 81, and 83 we can learn 3 new skills. So Festering Strike is in here. And where do I want to throw this? Maybe there. I should clean this out at some point. Good old Eastern Plaguelands, where this is something I talk about in my Let's Play episode releasing tomorrow. But I was thinking overall of the zone overhauls with Cataclysm, because every single Kalimdor zone and every single Eastern Kingdom zone gets completely overhauled. Some zones, like Silithus, I guess isn't a complete overhaul. It's more like minor adjustments. But then zones like the Eastern Plaguelands is changed a lot, as we can see, like all these towers are kind of like curing like the plague around this area and whatnot. And I was trying to think about which of the overhaul zones is my favorite zone out of all of them, where there's like a good selection that like I really enjoyed playing through back in like OG Cataclysm and then Mist of Pandaria when I was still playing. And I think out of all of them, it's probably the Eastern Plaguelands, with maybe a second place to Stone Talon Mountains. But I just really enjoy these zones. And the Maris homesteads here. I forget what you do here in the modern day version of the Eastern Plaguelands. We're speaking of the Maris stead. Where is Nathaniel Maris? Nathaniel Splycaller. Is he an Undercity now? I feel like this horse animation is off. That's not what it's supposed to look like, right? This is like the walking animation. Hold on. Yeah, there's the running. There's the walking. So it's giving like a very sped up version of the walking animation. So like the legs just aren't coming up high enough. I guess that's just another aspect of how the Cataclysm pre-patch is not fully complete. I also really like the Western Plaguelands as a zone. It's very fun to play through. I like the whole Fellstone field with all these Alliance laborers around here doing Alliance things, and then you have the Horde side of Vanderhall. Or I guess I should go check out Ragefire Chasm as well. Cataclysm. What dungeons get overhauled? There is no simple answer. Well, it looks like just Deadmines and Shadowfang Keep. I know Ragefire Chasm gets overhauled at some point. I guess I'll just peek into it. Good old Ruins of Lordaeron, where the ruins have been like kind of expanded, where you can like explore all the way back there now, where normally it was just like walled and gated off. Got Silver Pine Forest, Horde Haulers, and Horde Coffin Haulers. This like keep in Lordermere Lake has been like taken over by Alliance, right? And then you like bomb them and turn them into undead during the storyline, I think. Looks like a lot of Hillsbrad refugees. So it seems like all the refugees from Hillsbrad, because Hillsbrad got destroyed, just came over this way. I was just thinking yesterday, because I was running through this area of the road, like how small Lordomir like feels in the game, but how big it is in like the lore. Because like if you watch the Cataclysm like launch trailer or cinematic trailer or whatever, which is gonna play for you when you like load Cataclysm Classic for the first time. If you like look like some of the zones, like especially Thousand Needles, like lore wise, it looks completely different than how it looks in game, which is true across pretty much every single fantasy game. I do really enjoy how Pyrewood Village looks in Cataclysm. Like it's cool in vanilla, but I feel like it fits in really well with like all the Cataclysm changes, and then how they have like the bridge here going into Gilneas, and then Shadowfang keep there. Right, let's go and just take a sneak peek at Gilneas, I guess, since we're here. Where can I look at Trivial Quest just so we can see? We have a Flight Master here. No, we don't. Probably phases in as we do the Silverpine Forest quest chain. But oh yeah, I remember this submarine. Because the SI7 are trying to like keep a presence in Gilneas. This Highland Fox is cute. X2 Pincher. I remember I used to roleplay a lot, like when I was a kid, during like Cataclysm especially, where I remember coming here to roleplay. But I don't think I've roleplayed in like 13 years or something. Where, let's go ahead and run out of here. I'm planning on doing a Worgen Let's Play mini-series at some point in the future, which I'm excited to do, to like explore throughout all this area. But I might come through here as an undead on a stream at some point. No promises. Forsaken Catapult. We have all these tents over here. I feel like there is an absence of NPCs. Like there's only Crocolisks around here. And catapults. But there's like nothing in Pyrewood Village. If we come to the town over here, oh, there's an abomination. Some more catapults. Oh, here are some players. Or NPCs. Dark Rangers. Here's a Flight Master. Okay, let's go ahead and check out Shadowfang Keep, where last stream I actually came through here. Level 56 Night Elf Druid. Hello. I think that's a new loading screen art, right? What do we got? A bunch of Blight Spreaders. Commander Belmont. This land is our land. Okay. Is that the only one? And then I think as far as the layout goes, it's pretty much the same, but it's just like completely different like boss fights. Where I was playing as Unholy, and it sure is nice to have Howling Blast. Oh, I just jumped off there. If we come into the Dungeon Journal, I feel like this is super bugged. Okay. Dungeon Journal. And then Shadowfang Keep. So we got Baron Ashbury, who is a new boss from like the Gilneas and then into Silverpine quest chain. Then Baron Silverlane and Commander Springvale are repeat bosses, and then Lord Wadden and Lord Godfrey are two other of the bosses from Gilneas into Silverpine. Baron Ashbury. Did not say a line there. Robes of Arugo. Oh, Magistrate Henry Maleb is a Worgen. He's the magistrate from South Shore. I completely forgot he's here. And then just a bunch of Forsaken Troopers, and then some Rabid Mastiffs. But this is fun that this Worgen is here. that he became a warrior. I completely forgot about that. So back through this way, it looks like we can just go into the oh, there's a new shadow charger monitor. You can just go into the dining hall. We have these Philistines and these shadow chargers that are like skeletal and ghostly. Philistine saddlebags, a 10 slot bag. I'm not sure what the like leveling experience is like in Cataclysm with like bags and stuff on like a fresh account. I feel like that 10 slot bag probably isn't too useful, but maybe nice if it's like your first ever character. Got Bear and Silverlane, and none of them are playing voice lines, which is interesting. We are unlocking appearance items, which is going to be fun. You could probably try to like unlock stuff you don't have in retail for when Cataclysm or the like classic version of the game eventually becomes retail WoW, which I've been expecting since the Burning Crusade in like 2021 or whatever. Arced War Axe. Okay. Take a drink of water while he talks. Now we can turn the quest in. Now we can kill Lord Mauradon. I feel like it's really interesting how like questing works in dungeons in Cataclysm, where I'm not like a big fan of it, and like I definitely understand why it got changed. Oh, this was a rare mob, Haunting Blade. Like I completely understand why it got changed, and when I'm looking at like World of Warcraft as it evolves, I'm like happy it's like this, and like I think it's like good like it. But just like to compare it like 1-to-1 with like World of Warcraft Classic, which I guess I'm biased from like nostalgia. I really enjoy kind of like the whole classic, like trying to go around the world to collect a bunch of different quests that are going to send you into like a dungeon that you then have to get like special items or complete like special tasks in the dungeon to then like return back out into the world. Like I think that's like a very fun and like special part of the game where like both like concepts of like questing and dungeons like works and like their respective games. It's just interesting to look at it. Which I think that's like one of the biggest reasons why people are like why classic like should exist, is to allow like both of those experiences, because like how it is in like Cataclysm now and then like how it's evolved in retail is like perfectly fine and it's great for like people who want that, but like people who like played through like vanilla were forced into like those changes as the game evolved and they couldn't like re-experience that until classic, which I think is like really shows like how good of an idea like classic WoW is. As long as it's financially sustainable, I guess. I do think the Cataclysm Classic team, who's the same team as like the Season of Discovery team, has a lot of work cut out for them. And it's kind of unfortunate that like, oh, Chromash, I feel like I know you. Let's kill Lord Mauradon. But I've seen a lot of like hate spewed towards them on like Reddit, which is very unfortunate. And like, in some sense it's kind of warranted because like this is like a super big mess. But also, it's not that too bad. And there's only like 3 people on that team. So they don't have enough resources to do everything they're being told to do. Orders are for the living. Complete quest. Now kill Lord Godfrey. For Sylvanas. Instead of for the Horde. Lots of foreshadowing. Into the Wrathgate, and then now again into like the ending for Battle for Azeroth. New Horde reputation, Bilgewater Cartel. Yeah, overall, I mean, Shadowfang Keep in Cataclysm is like cool, but like it just doesn't hit the vibe check compared to how it is in vanilla. Like there's something very special about like all of the bosses and like the atmosphere of this dungeon and just like everything with vanilla Shadowfang Keep. I think the Deadmines overall feels pretty similar to vanilla Deadmines, which is good. Who is Chromash? Wow, Chromash. Where else does he show up? Oh, he's a Maghar Orc Warlord. Added in Cataclysm, did a bunch of different things. Shows up in Legion, BFA, Dragonflight. In Dragonflight, he's only at the Koshark Festival. But let's go kill Lord Godfrey, I suppose. Final boss, the new version of Shadowfang Keep, where I don't think any of the bosses actually had their dialogues working. Sylvanas sent you too, did she? No matter, your journey ends in agony. I thank you for the clean death. I would not have done the same. Can turn this in. Just pick a random thing. It doesn't show if I have it learned or not. And then can I teleport out? Or is that only with like LFG? No worries. Let us run this way. Speaking of LFG, I have Justice points now. It looks like they still have like all of the Titan Rune dungeons. Blackrock Caverns and Throne of Tides is changed. What's Blackrock Caverns? Why am I blanking on that dungeon? Home. Blackrock Caverns. This was a dungeon in Cataclysm? Completely blanking on this. Oh, I kind of remember this boss. Beauty. He drops something. No idea. I have no memory of this dungeon. I might be thinking of a different boss that looks exactly like this. And where am I going? I'm going this way. So Blackrock Caverns and the Deadmines and then Shadowfang Keep, of course. Grimbato, I remember Halls of Origination, I remember Lost City of the Tovir, I remember Stonecore, I remember Vortex Pinnacle, I remember Throne of the Tides, I remember. I just forgot about Blackrock Caverns. I'll go do that at some point. I was thinking about doing a stream where I go through like all of the Blackrock Mountains, like dungeons and raids, because there's like so many of them from like so many different expansions. It's like a very large in-game area over the years. I think that would be fun. Same thing with Caverns of Time. That's another area. For Burning Crusade, Wrath, and Cataclysm, had a bunch of like in-game content. But there is Shadowfang Keep. Looks like there was a human warrior doing the same thing as me. Alright, let's go ahead and make our way to Deadmines. We're out to explore the Deadmines. And then I wanted to see if there was cultist quests, because I remember with like the whole Twilight's Hammer stuff, I'm very confused about this with the pre-patch, because I remember back in the day that there was like a whole quest line in like Orgrimmar and Stormwind City that you could do that like related to like the Twilight Hammer or whatever, and like people were joining the cult and then they like fought back against the cult, and they were all like doomsaying about like Cataclysm and the end of the world and how Deathwing was going to change everything. Where I just remember like all those quests, and they weren't, to my knowledge, they weren't available in the Rathlich Keen classic like final patch of the game where there was Operation Nomergon and Zalazin's Fall, where I don't think they were there. And then I was trying to find them a little bit earlier as I was like exploring the world, and I couldn't find them again in the pre-patch. And then I found like the old order of like events and quests that were introduced as like the transition from Rathlich Keen into Cataclysm, and apparently it was before like the Sundering, so like before the world changed. So we might be in a place where like those quests just like don't exist anymore, but then also like they never existed in Classic, so I'm like very confused by all that. So I'll go run around trying to find them, but I have low hopes and low expectations that I'll be able to do those quests, which like they're just really small like quests to like help you transition into like the Cataclysm, like a little bit of story for people who enjoy story, and then maybe a little bit of fun gameplay for people to experience and play through, but nothing too big, nothing as cool as the Rathlich Keen like stories and quests that were added, and like events that were unfortunately ruined by the player base as Wrath was launching out of TBC, which was unfortunate, but it is what it is. Or I think after Deadmines, can go try to find that, and then I might just run through some more dungeons. I have a fun Goblin Zeppelin here. I guess we can go see what happens when you try to get into Twilight Highlands, because I suppose it's the same thing as Mount Hyjal, where that was an interesting experience as I was trying to get into Mount Hyjal. Yeah, Wetlands as a zone is one I enjoy a lot less with how it changes in Cataclysm compared to like Eastern Plaguelands. Still like a fun experience in its own right, but I think it's like a really not super popular zone in general in Cataclysm. Like I don't think a lot of people enjoyed questing through here. I could be wrong. We are getting hit by magic barriers of nothingness. Let's see what happens as we get here. Okay, it looks like Invisible Wall, Twilight's Hammer, Horse, and we just got teleported. Dragon Wall Pass. And I'm still getting hit by this magical fairy force, which does not seem to be a good thing for my character, but I'm not losing health or anything, so. Okay, looks like we're out of it. I remember people reading about or talking about how cool of like a quest it was where like Alexstrasza was fighting like Deathwing like right above there. But I remember doing that on like a human paladin on like the retail version of the game like back in like 2019-ish when I was like returning to the game to play Classic. I like just ran through Twilight Highlands for like whatever reason just to like see like retail gameplay and whatnot. Or I did like a bunch of other zones and like Warlords of Draenor and Legion and stuff, but I remember like experiencing that quest where there are some cool questing moments like with cinematics and stuff, especially with the Worgen and Goblin starting zones. Like I was playing a little bit of a Worgen character as the pre-patch released earlier today, and there's like a few cool cutscenes. You have like the normal opening cutscene, and then you get the cutscene where Lord Godfrey like mocks you as you like become a Worgen or whatever. And then you get that like mini cutscene where you're with Gin and you're like looking at like all the Horde forces like marching into Gilneas and how Gilneas has flooded and whatnot. think this area of the road over here is where like Deathwing came out of the ground or whatever, right? Like between Dunmerle and Stormwind, like this little crevice right here. That's the spot, right? But I feel like there hasn't been a lot added to this area right here. Is this an Ascendant? Minister Finister, a goblin. Okay. But I feel like there's like a good opportunity to add like a little bit of content like right here. Not like necessarily in Cataclysm, but like in retail WoW. Or if they like, there's been like the rumors that they're going to overhaul the road again in like a future like World of Warcraft expansion. I feel like there's a good opportunity to like take this like area of the road and to make it like a Deathwing related story. Maybe like a dungeon where you go like underground and you see like Deathwing's lair or whatever. Where like the goblins are, I forget the name of the other race that was like helping him like heal and like get his like whatever armor on him. Adamantium armor. Is that what it is? I need to be careful of Stormwind here, I guess, since I am an orc. But Stormwind and Cataclysm is pretty cool. I think I enjoy like the classic version of Orgrimmar like a lot more than the like modern day version of Orgrimmar, but I think how Stormwind has evolved is really cool because it's mostly the same as it is in classic, and then here in Cataclysm it's like a little messed up because like Deathwing came here and like did a bunch of whatever. He like pissed on the park or whatever and then like just landed on the tower and I got flagged for PvP. That's probably not a good thing. But it gets like fixed in like Warlords of Draenor or something like that. And it just gets like some minor adjustments like over the years to like its layout and like the content available in like this entire city. Which I think largely it was like some good changes where I think it's like a solid city. Where I just don't like the vibes of modern day Orgrimmar really. We got dead old Blanchy, just like the server. Let's hope there's no like level 80 alliance players hanging out around the entrance to the Deadmines so we can run down there. Unbound Cyclone. Good old Moonbrook. Alright, this map changes a lot, but I think this... Oh, there's an alliance camp here. Oh, and we got Vanessa Van Cleef screaming somewhere. Okay, let's try to get down into the Deadmines. Which I guess it is changed a lot. Which I think the layouts of like the Deadmines and like the entrance to the Deadmines is pretty much the same. But like you're not fighting Defias as you get into like the dungeon. Where there might be quests down here, I forget. Is it this way? I'm blinking a little. I feel like I took the wrong turn. Maybe it's right. I most definitely took the wrong turn, but this is a cool room. Do I have the movement speed buff in Cataclysm, or is that added in the future? Doesn't look like I have it. Tin vein. And just a wide variety of different NPCs around here, but I don't think any are related to like quests, especially not as a Horde character. But I don't have any memories of coming through here as an Alliance character. I just remember questing up on the surface. I think this is the same loading screen art for the Deadmines. So Shadowfang Keep got new loading screen art, but Deadmines did not. Where there is a goblin teleporter here, which I think I could have taken from Gramgo or something. I'm not sure. I'm kind of tempted to click on it to see what happens. Okay, so to go deeper into the mines. So we have Miss Mayhem here. We can fight the Four Reaper, and then we have some members of the Shattered Hand, which is like the Assassin's League for the Horde. And I think that's all the quests there. So we can fight Helix Gear Breaker. And then we can fight Glubtalk, and then Full Reaper 5000. But if we come into the Dungeon Journal, you can see it's these three bosses, and then Admiral Ripsnarl, and then Captain Cookie. Cookie got a promotion. And then Deadmines in Cataclysm is kind of cool because in the heroic version of the dungeon, there's actually a final boss, which is kind of fun, where you can fight Vanessa Van Cleef, who becomes a kind of important character over the years, especially in Legion. Oh, what is this UI? Okay. Pick up Miner's Cape. Got a new skin unlocked. Just a ton of goblins around here. I thought there was more Defias, but I guess not. Got some oafs too. Now we can fight the Lumbering Oaf, who has the one goblin on top of him. Helix Gearbreaker. Smelting Pants. These goblins look kind of funny because they look like how human warriors start the game. Here's some Defias. Defias Miners, Diggers, Invokers. So you just fight goblins for the first part of the dungeon? I remember, I think they went like really overboard with like the pirates in the last part. Which I guess is kind of the same as Classic. But I'm sad that there's no more like Mr. Smite. I mean, and Edwin Van Cleef is just a very nostalgic character too. But I feel like Mr. Smite and like blasting the door open with the cannon is just such a iconic moment of like World of Warcraft vanilla, where it doesn't exist anymore. In the classic version it does. Full Reaper 5000. I think we have to fight all the Defias Watchers. Where he'll get 100 energy. Potentially. There we go. And now he's going online, I think. There we go. It's interesting that the new Deadmines like voice lines are working, but Shadowfang Keep is not working. Full Reaper. Another Defias section. Got the cannon. Do we need to get something for the cannon, or can you just click on it? I don't see anything around here. The cannon was rigged with an explosive trap. No Mr. Smite yelling his famous voice line of "You there, check out that noise." But yeah, this is what I remember. There's like so many parrots everywhere, like just flying around. And I remember it's during the Vanessa fight, I think, where this is like really cool, but like you can like, there's like a mechanic where she lights like the entire boat on fire, and you have to like get off the boat for a second by like swinging on ropes. So it feels like a very like piratey experience. There's a goblin teleporter, which I guess if we like die, we can use to like get back here or whatever. But I think if you die, you just respawn in the dungeon. So maybe you just respawn at the start. So I think Admiral Ripsnarl is right there. And then Cookie is hiding in the shadows like Edwin Van Cleef was. Thirst for blood. And Vapor. I think Admiral Ripsnarl's story is like a big part of the Westfall storyline, if I recall correctly. And there's some foreshadowing for the bonus boss in the heroic version of the game. A shadowy figure appears in the ship's cabin. You can see a pirate hat on a strange creature. Do we have to run up to it? There we go. Captain Cookie, Defias Kingpin. The boat chef got a promotion to captain. Cookie Sternrod. Or this is the final boss of the normal mode version, but then of course there's the one more in the heroic mode version. Let's just pick that one. Cookie's meat mallet has been added to your collection, and then you can turn in these two quests as well. There's an interesting for the Bilgewater Cartel, for the Shattered Hand, for the Horde, and then she yells, the pitiful human escaped.
Don't waste my time.
So there's all those quests, and we got Horde reputation instead of like Bilgewater or Orgrimmar reputation. But that's Deadmines, and that is Shadowfang Keep. Alright, let's go ahead and return to Orgrimmar via Dalaran, and let's see if my memories of Reexploring Chasm changing is like an actual memory or a fake memory. I think it must happen in a future expansion if it's not in Cataclysm. Because like I remember Blackfell and Deeps got overhauled in Warlords of Draenor, like of all expansions, which is interesting. I do need to go to a merchant just to clean out my inventory. Where the portal trainer is in the Cleft of Shadow now. Yeah. Orcs become mages in Cataclysm. That's right. I was just thinking orcs can't become mages in Classic. Or like Vanilla Classic. Okay, Reexploring Chasm. Of course, every dungeon gets changed a little bit. Where this looks the same. I come into here. Okay, so this looks the same. Let me do a quick Google search. Wow, when did Reexploring Chasm get overhauled? Mr. Pandaria. Okay. So I guess alongside the Scarlet Monastery. This dungeon also got overhauled in that expansion. I have a quest to turn in. Oh, that's right, you picked up from Garrosh. Okay. So pretty much the same dungeon as I did last stream. So let's get out of here. And then let's go run to the Drag, I think, because that's where I remember this like whole cultist quest line like occurring. So they're building a house over there. I guess we got the general goods merchant I can just sell all this stuff to. It's nice that it auto learns like the new armor and weapon skins, because I don't think it does that in retail, right? toys and novelties. So I guess there's no cultists, because they would be on like every corner here. So I guess they just didn't add those quests, which is very interesting. I wonder how many people will even remember them. Can transmogrify, Arcane Reforge, which is like in-game stuff, and then void storage somewhere. Not here. I think there's an NPC missing, which is interesting. So I guess there are no quests for any of the pre-patch stuff. And I guess that's Shadowfang Keep and Deadmines, and then we kind of went through our talents and stuff. And we've explored the world a little bit. And I guess let's just run around, take a look at like some of the changes to the map with like Cataclysm. And I think I want to run through some old dungeons, because I've been wanting to like run through every single like classic dungeon on stream, so we can go ahead and go through a few of those. Where if I come to my dungeons and rates, and then classic, 1000 valor points. Is that from Cataclysm stuff? Where they have condensed all the Lich King dungeon and raid stuff down. And if you look at this, they have all of the Fireland stuff and all of the 4.3 stuff. I forget the name of the raid. Dragon Soul, that's the name. So they have all of that stuff there. But if we come to classic, we could do Zul'Farrak, Dire Maul. I need to do Mauradon, I think. Which looks like I did it 3 years ago on my Warlock character. Oh, that's right. So all the achievements are account-wide now. Huh. Okay. Duratar, of course, flooded. All these poor wolves in that burning tent. So much like Quobor, like more Quobor storylines than there were in like classic here. So let's go to Desolace, where I keep clicking on Mogar, where Desolace changes a lot, but then we could run through Mauradon, I think. That'd be fun. Where I don't think Mauradon as a dungeon changes a lot with Cataclysm, but I do believe it is like 3 distinct dungeons now, at least when it comes to LFG, which that might have been the case in Wrath Lich King as well when it comes to the LFG, but I think it's like a much more like standout detail of the dungeon. That Zeppelin is flying so low to the ground, like right over the Alliance like base camp right here. But you only have to complete the final part, it looks like, to get the achievement. But like with every single dungeon with Cataclysm, like the entire questing experience through the dungeon changes, or like all the quests for the dungeons have either like changed and or are like now put into the dungeon at like the start of the dungeon, and then you can turn it in at the end of the dungeon. Is it in Cataclysm where this area right here is like super wacky, where we have like all of these Grim Totem like torn down there, but if you come up to here, there's like a ton of critters that, yep, they're all like fighting each other. We have this giant rabbit wielding like a massive axe, and this prairie dog just died, and there's this mouse, and then there's this rabbit here. It looks like it's only rabbits. I think in like a future version of the game, like the mouses and like the prairie dogs get weapons, like guns or whatever, and start shooting the rabbits, but it looks like in Cataclysm it's only the rabbits. I think it's in Mr. Pandaria where that changes. Sargeron. Looks like we still have these same quests down here at Shadowprey Village. But there's a flight path right here. And then there's another flight path 15 feet away from it. Let's go check that out. It's giving me some like 2012 Guild Wars 2 vibes, where there's like 3 waypoints in like a 10-foot radius of each other. Yeah. Cohor. Are you over? No, here's just a named mob. Burning Blade. I still have the Corruptor quest here, but only a few quest markers for the Corruptor instead of the entire place being quest markers. Okay, so we got Silvermoon Dragonhawks here. So this is a Blood Elf base camp for Silvermoon City. And then if we come over here, is this a Night Elf base camp? Oh, it's a Scenario and Circle base camp. Okay. This makes a little bit more sense. So it seems like we have a neutral like flight master right here. And then 10 feet away, there's, I guess it's technically more than 10 feet, but like, you know, over exaggerated. We have the Horde like flight master. So there's 2 flight paths right next to each other for Horde characters, but only the one for Alliance. So I guess that kind of makes a little bit of sense. Still giving me some Guild Wars 2 vanilla vibes though. Valley of Spears. Has this horn model always been here? Because I remember it's in 1,000 Needles now. Mauradon Stormers. I feel like the entrance to Mauradon is always like very interesting. Like I think we know what creature this is, but I'm completely blanking on what it is, and I can't even decipher what it is without reading from someone else telling me what it is. Ghostly Raiders. So I haven't done Mauradon in a very long time. And I think it's kind of a confusing dungeon if I remember correctly, but we can just run straight through it. Looks like we have 1 centaur there that's caged, some centaur statues. But the question is, are there 3 distinct entrances to this path or dungeon? Where I guess I should double check. Mauradon starting entrance. Okay, the Google preview was telling me how to get into the dungeon, and then it cut off at this point. Okay, looks like the purple wing is technically like the first part of the dungeon. So let's go through here first. Amethyst Shale Hatchlings. I think this is a new model with Cataclysm, right? There's the entrance down here. Spirit of Kolk, the first con. I'm trying to see. I'm pretty sure. Portal to Inner Mauradon. That doesn't seem right. That's the ending of the dungeon. I'm not even inside yet and I'm lost because I haven't been here since like 2020. So that's, when did I get this achievement? Oh wait, I got the achievement with the launcher Wrath Lich King in 2021. So it must have been like 2019 or at latest 2020 when I did this. Oh wait, I just did a full circle. Okay, I think I need to go over there. I guess you can use this portal if you're attuned to Mauradon. Amethyst shell hatchlings again. Rockworm. I feel like there's a joke right there. Oh, I remember this area. Oh, there's the entrance. Okay. Which I think the dungeon guide is not fully implemented with the Cataclysm, which is another weird thing about this pre-patch. There's just a lot of weird things going on. But if we come out, we have this like UI overlaid on the UI. A little whack. Oh, we have Baradin Hold. Is there only one boss at the start of it? But a very nice thing about Cataclysm, I suppose, is we now have these maps. The fourth con. So I think each of the 3 areas of Mauradon are like very unique from one another, if I recall correctly. Where I remember for the last part is like super open and has like a lot of like water and like some waterfalls, I think. And then the first part is like very like satyry, you know, kind of like remnants of like the Night Elven empires and whatnot. Where it says there's a boss right here. Tinker Gizlock is the boss. He has a ton of health compared to the last 2 dungeons we did. Mega shot rifle. Got a cool scope on there. And then the second part is like a bunch of slimes, right? Super late night stream, very cool stuff. Good night. Thanks for checking in, Erica. I hope you are doing well and have a good night. But the second part is like a bunch of oozes, right? And like, I think there's like a plant boss that like also spawns like weird ooze worm things or something. That's my memory. I want to switch Howling Blast and Icy Touch, because I keep pressing 1 when I want a Howling Blast, because I think that's how it is in my like retail character. Got a bunch of imps. I think there's a big satyr boss up here, if I recall correctly. Lord Vile Tongue. Oh yes, Satyr's helping him out. Yeah, change with Death Knights and Cataclysm Classic is with the rune system, where we can see when you have 2 runes used up, the first one will be going like off cooldown, and once it's off cooldown, the second one will start its like cooldown timer. So both won't be going at the same time, which was the case in Wrath Lich King. Which I don't think it changes like too much because of like some other like adjustments they've made to like the rune system. But it just feels like a little bit different. So we killed 2 bosses in there. Where we killed the goblin and then we killed the satyr, and now I think we're in the second dungeon, in the second area of this dungeon. Which I guess, oops, wrong button. Which I guess is like the 3rd, 4th, and 5th area with how it was in vanilla. Which is nice that like they changed how it is in like LFG for like rewards and stuff, but they still left it so you could do like the whole dungeon and just like walk through. Cavern Shamblers, I think. Yeah, we just run up that way. I feel like the goblin boss is different than how it was in the original Mauradon. Let's pull it up. Mauradon boss order. Wow. Okay, purple entrance. Yeah, that boss wasn't the same. So it looks like the boss... Oh, wait, Tinker Gizlock was originally... So yeah, with Cataclysm, they did change Mauradon a little bit with like the boss order. So Tinker Gizlock, I remember, was like up on like a cliff and like the final part of the dungeon, but now he's like the first boss. And it looks like they got rid of 2 of the bosses, maybe 3. There's like a rare one which I didn't see but could still exist. So it looks like they got rid of like those 2 bosses and then threw Tinker Gizlock in there. And now there's supposed to be 3 bosses in this area, where Razor Lash is like the last one, but he's the first one here, and then we'll see over here in a moment. Lots of health once again. Brussels hide leggings. I think Zul'Farrak also changes in Cataclysm a little bit. We'll run over there. Same thing with Maul. It's like very minor changes to like a lot of dungeons, I feel like. So that was Razor Lash. So let's see what boss is over here at the Noxious Hollow. Probably shouldn't say this because I'm about to jinx it, but I did crash like 15 times earlier today and I haven't crashed a single time yet, which I think is a good thing. Okay, so we got Noxian here, who's one of the other bosses. Or it looks like they cut out one of the bosses from this area. Heart of Noxian. Okay, I think that's the second dungeon kind of complete. There's still like a little bit of a walking section here, where we have the Spirit of Vang, who I think in vanilla is a boss you can fight. Where we saw Murados earlier, who's like the 4th con, who we could have fought as well. But it looks like they're not bosses in the Cataclysm version, which is interesting. So they really like trimmed down this dungeon with Cataclysm. This is a gross area, with whatever that is. Oh, I thought the larva was coming to attack me, but he is not. So I think this is just like a winding hall towards the next part of the dungeon, which is the 3rd and final big part. Where these first 2 parts was a lot more straightforward than I remember. It is like a really linear path. I think it gets a little bit more confusing on the last part though. Barbed Lasher. Got some orange crystals here again. It's supposed to be like the theme of this area. Orange crystals here and then purple crystals earlier on. Where we see this dungeon portal right here. Wish. Is this going to take us back to the entrance again? Or, yeah, we're outside of the dungeon now. Okay, let's run around here a little bit. Let's go to that portal. Topaz Shale Hatchling. We don't have a map in this area of the world, but I think it's just around here. We got a dryad hanging out here. Kavindra says, this place, it's cursed. Okay, so I think this is back towards like the area where it goes off into 3 different directions. So yeah, it looks like those 2 dungeons are just like a loop. So I guess Razor Lash is the final boss of the orange area, where does it meet up in the center and then we run over? Let's run down here, back towards Coke. Where we have portal to Inner Mauradon. Where do we just run through here? We do run through there. And I think that's just going to send us right here. I have a mithril deposit. And then looks like there's 4 bosses here. Where there was 5, but the goblin boss got moved around. Where I think we can start running this way for the first boss. Corrupt force of nature. Actually, can we run that way? Does not look like it. Is it around here? Looks like it's around here. Yeah, I just haven't done Mauradon in a long time. It's kind of fun to just run through here. A little bit of a nostalgia trip. But I remember kind of doing it in vanilla. Rare. I definitely remember doing this part in vanilla. But even that was like 5 years ago. We have Celebras, the Cursed, who was in the purple entrance, and now he's here. Okay, so we must be missing another boss. Okay. Soothsayer's headdress. We can talk to him now. He probably says a lot of stuff. You can just pause the stream or the VOD if you want to read that. Moving on. Is this back towards... Okay, I think this is going back towards the purple and orange area. So I just want to see like where it transitions. Okay. Oh, it's at the Poison Falls. You can just run this way. That makes so much sense now. So Mauradon is like, you can choose like which entrance you want to go into, and then you can like do a couple bosses, and then you could go to like the other entrance and do those bosses, or you can just progress towards like the final boss. It's a very interesting design for a dungeon. So I guess technically this boss is part of the purple entrance. I feel like this is more Earthsong Falls. But I think that's all of that. So let's go find these last 3 bosses. Where Zaytar's Grave, of course, is going to be the last boss. Kind of want to go check out Dire Maul as well. Maybe we'll do that after this one. So can you just drop down here? So this just goes to the same area, I think. So this is a shortcut. We have to swim. My poor eyes. Okay. Path of Frost. A nice thing about being a Death Knight. And then we can just run this way. We just got a quest popped up and I was forced auto-accepted it. To fight the final boss. Where I think this is where the dungeon starts with like LFG or whatever. So let's go find this boss. Through these cool looking flowers radiating some type of energy. Or water. No, definitely energy. Maybe water. It's probably both. A lot of water in this game is very magical. It's kind of like the basis for like half the lore. Blindweed. Theridrim Guardians. And Shardlings. Where I remember a giant like rock, like a giant boss somewhere, Earth Giant. That's the technical name. Oh, I killed Lord Viletongue earlier, but it didn't give me the credit. Oh, Return to Zatar Spirit. It did give me credit. So we got all of these Earth Elementals here. So right around here we have Landslide. It's a fun name for a Earth Giant boss. Yeah, I remember with Cataclysm, Frost Death Knight is very like proc heavy, which is a kind of fun gameplay system. Cloudstone has been added to our collection. An offhand item. I know a lot of the like questing items you get were like overhauled with Cataclysm, but I feel like a lot of the dungeon stuff is kind of the same as it was with like vanilla drops. Sneak around here. I think we can just run along this bridge and we'll get to the final boss, and then we could drop down for the bonus Crocolisk boss. So it looks like Landslide still exists, and then Tinker Gizlock has moved, and then Rot Grip still exists, but Elder Split Rock. Who's this boss? Oh wait, he's for the Lunar New Year stuff. So we have Princess Theodrus up here. And go ahead and kill her. And then I guess we could drop down and try to fight the Crocolisk afterwards. Well, this is a very beautiful area. I love this spot a lot. I feel like Theodrus is a very interesting lore character. I think I like touched on her a little bit in like my Torrent and my Season of Discovery Let's Play series. We have Zatar's grave up here. A very interesting model. Got like 3 heads, 4 arms. She makes female orc noises. Achievement earned, Mauradon. I didn't pick up that item. Zatar Spirit says free from my bonds at last. Maybe we can turn in these 2 quests. Oh, it looks like these items are updated. Corruption of Mauradon. So that's Mauradon completed, but let's go ahead and drop down here into the water really quickly and we can see if we can find that Crocolisk boss. But we also might just die, which is probably not a good thing. Or I guess really quickly, does Zatar say something? I'll just click through really quickly. Oh, it's just I greet your orc. Okay, let's drop down now. But yeah, I just love all the waterfalls around this area. It's like a big open vale. Or I guess chasm would be the technical name for an area like this. I like this like triple waterfall going down into like another triple waterfall right there, right next to like two waterfalls, and then there's some waterfalls over here. Okay, the Crocus boss is directly under me, and I don't have Path of Frost. Okay, Rot Grip. Which I suppose the best way out of here would to just Hearthstone out. And then we could go to Dire Maul. Rot Grip Mantle. Okay, let's go ahead, go back to Delirium once again.
Strength and honor.
I think Dire Maul and Mauradon are both interesting dungeons because they were dungeons added in vanilla World of Warcraft, but they both came after the original launch of World of Warcraft. So they're like the first pieces of like post-release content introduced to World of Warcraft and like the entire game's history. And these are a lot of quests we could pick up, but only questies showing them. That's funny. But I think Mauradon was introduced first, and then Dire Maul was introduced like all the way back in like 2005 or whatever. It's just kind of crazy. Okay. Can we take a portal to the Blasted Lands, and then there's a portal to Selithis in the Blasted Lands? Is that a thing? I feel like I don't want to use up my Hearthstone because I just, or like do that because I can't Hearthstone back. So let's just fly this way. Where of course Selithis and Cataclysm is a wee bit different than it is in the modern version of the game. It's largely similar to how it is in like vanilla, where Selithis is like one of the zones like Arathi Highlands that doesn't change a whole lot with Cataclysm. There's like a few changes, but for the most part it's exactly the same. But Fairless, on the other hand, is a zone that changes a lot. Where I remember these like steam pools up here that maybe we can go check that out. But like there's a new Feathermoon stronghold that's on the shore over here, and the ruins of Feathermoon is destroyed. And then I forget the name of this island, but all the way down here is destroyed. Or I guess since I went through all the effort of reclaiming the Echo Isles, which I did off stream, I guess, we can go check it out over here. Where we have the normal orc starting area, but then we have Sinjin Village over here, which I think is largely the same, but there's like a lot of alliance stuff over in those like canyons instead of Kokar stuff. But Echo Isles changes a lot, where with Cataclysm there's like a bunch of new like class and race combinations that were introduced to the game, because of course like there's the Worgen and the Goblins and like all the classes that they can play as. But we saw something really popular new classes added. You can see Vojin right here just hanging out.
How can old Vorgin relax?
That's fun. But there was like the Dwarf Shamans, which was like a really popular thing to have added. And then there's Troll Druids, which was another really popular thing to be added. And then I think humans and undead can become hunters. And then I'm sure there's a few others. Cataclysm new race class combos. So Worgens can be Death Knights, Druids, Hunters, Mages, Priests, Rogues, Warlocks, and Warriors. And then Goblins can be Death Knights, Hunters, Mages, Priests, Rogues, Shamans, Warlocks, and Warriors. But then going down the board, nothing new was added for Draenei. So, poor Draenei. But then Dwarves got Mages. I guess that couldn't be Mages, that's right. And then Shamans and Warlocks. And then Gnomes could become Priests, which I don't remember Gnomes becoming Priests. But, makes sense. And then Humans could become Hunters. And then Night Elves could become Mages, which that's actually like a really big story beat to have with like Cataclysm, with like Night Elves becoming Mages. Because we know the whole like Highborn storyline, where it was like a really big like magic based society like way back in the day, but then of course with like the destruction of the Well of Eternity and kind of like the betrayal of Azara, we saw that like magic and like Night Elven society was like shunned upon, and like druidism became like a much bigger part of like Night Elven society. But then with Wrath Lich King, we saw the Highborn kind of like reintroduced into the game, where like they came out of hiding or whatever, where they summoned Dire Maul, I think, which is where we're going. And they are now allowing Night Elf players to be mages, which is cool. But then Blood Elves can become warriors now, which I honestly forgot that they couldn't be warriors. I always thought like a warrior was like the one class that every single race could play as, but maybe that was just a vanilla thing. But now it's like an actual thing. And orcs can become mages, which I feel like is kind of a big thing. 1,000 Needles is now flooded. Tauren can become paladins, which I thought was a Mr. Pandaria thing, but I guess it's Cataclysm. And then Tauren can also become priests, where trolls can become druids, and then undead can become hunters. So just like more race class combos, which I think there's like pros and cons for like limited race class combos and like unlimited race class combos, which yeah, I think it just depends on the version of the game really. I'm glad there's like a lot of restrictions for like vanilla World of Warcraft with like classic era, but I'm also very happy that there's a lot more freedom of choice with retail. I think there's like something interesting to think about like Guild Wars 2, about like what race class combos would exist in that game, because like I guess like story wise we could see like all the like scholar classes like wouldn't be playable if you were a Char, because like magic is very shunned upon in like Char society, but they also make that like a big part of like being a Char character, like that class where like you're kind of shunned down or like looked down upon. Let's come check out the resort up here before I go into Dire Maul, because I remember this area of the road being like kind of a big part of like Cataclysm, not from like a lore standpoint, but just from being like a popular area that people really liked a lot. Because it's like one of those like spots where it's like in a very random area of the road without like really any reason to come here, but there's just like a lot of detail and it's kind of just like fun to hang out at. Same thing with like Gallywix's Pleasure Palace here in Azara. And you can see the steam pools up here between Silithus and Fairless with a ton of goblins. Got some level 85 resort guests here, some night elves and some dwarves. That night elf is working on a 10. Resort staff with a very long line. Lucky bucket. And then we got a long food line here as well. A ton of gnomes. They all have, you can like talk to each of them, but it's only like a few different lines of dialogue. Assistant Resort Director. Come in here. Resort Staff. Just a basic goblin house. And then of course the very famous Gordon Tramsey. Do you have what it takes to stay in my kitchen? Got some riding mammoths up here that are being cleaned. Yeah, just overall a very fun area. Let's head over to Dire Maul. Which Dire Maul is, just like Mauradon, one of the dungeons that was added to the game after the initial release of Vanilla, but it's also a dungeon that's wing based, where Mauradon is kind of wing based, but this one is very distinctly 3 separate wings that are part of the same dungeon. We're just kind of going off of the Scarlet Monastery model, where that was like 4 wings, that was like a single dungeon, that was like super popular in Vanilla, and then they went hard with that idea in the Burning Crusade and then in Wrath of the Lich King, and then it got changed up a little bit with Cataclysm and onwards. You don't really see wing dungeons anymore, I think. But of course, Dire Maul is a place that I talked a lot about in my Human Mage playthrough, I think, with like all the lore and story around here, with this being a big part of like Highborn society and kind of like one of the big areas of like ancient Night Elven society before they were the Night Elves. Alright, I guess I can fly around this entire area. But, as I said, there are 3 distinct wings, and I kind of forget the order that you're supposed to do them in. But I feel like it's north, east, west, if I recall correctly. So let's go through north here. Stone Maw Ogre. King of the Gordok. I guess I could do this. Kill King Gordok. Where we have Gordok commons here. So each of the 3 wings are very different from one another, where this one is heavily ogre themed. Guard Modar. So it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different bosses in this wing. I'll crush you. Bulky iron spotters. Gordok Mastiff. Take a look at that. It's actually really cool looking. I like a lot of classic armor. I think this is kind of a smaller like mini boss, Stopper Creek the Truck, who I think is like a Hearthstone card, right? Nevertheless, we can crush him as he screams that he'll crush us. Then we get Krieg's Mug and some jugs of Badlands Bourbon, which is just a cool looking offhand skin. And then this is just a strong alcoholic beverage. And then there's a boss up here. Now Dire Maul is truly a dungeon I have not done in a very long time. Where I did Mauradon in Vanilla Classic, but I don't think I've done this one at least since Mr. Pandaria. Maybe I did it more recently and just forgot about it. I have Fingus's chest right here, which I thought this was supposed to spawn a boss. So I might just stumble my way through this dungeon a little bit. I don't think it matters too much to kill each of the bosses. Or if I come into here, we just need to kill the final boss of each one. Thornling Seed. Oh, here's Guard Fingus. Here's the boss. Plants a Thornling which attracts nearby enemies. That's fun. modest arm guards. Can't really see them. Yes, they're very modest. I take these off. There we go. Gordok courtyard door. So I guess that's halfway through the dungeon technically. When does the Death Knights get the running speed buff? I kind of want that. Talents. So On a Pale Horse is a frost talent. I think it was an unholy talent in Wrath of the Sheen, wasn't it? It's interesting that it's now frost. Not Thimblejack. Let's just run through here. Or I think this is just a quest that can help us kill the final boss a little bit easier. Or I think the next boss is up here. A little bit of guard, slip kick. Maybe this is the boss. Hide belt. I feel a little bit more powerful than I did in the Wrath of the King, like already, like with the class changes and stuff. It's kind of interesting, like how big the changes can be. Wandering Eye of Kilrog. Yes, I think that was the fourth boss. So then we have to work our way up here. I like this cool like root right here that's going into the wall and like out of the ground there. I guess it's two different ones. Another door here. Gordok inner door. So only two more bosses left. Got a rat. Just overkill that. Captain Crom Crush. Not very similar to the name of the orc from Shadowfang Keep and from Silver Pine Forest. Except with a C at the start, I think. Let's kill this boss. I played a little bit of Warcraft Rumble. I guess a lot of it, but I stopped quite some time ago now. When it originally came out, but I remember like the Dire Maul version of the Warcraft Rumble dungeon, which is kind of fun. I remember at the end we have these two bosses up here, but then it's like a 3-lane area where you can just like rush straight to the end, or you can go off like the final stage of it, or you can go off in one of the other 2 lanes that's on like the far left and far right side of the board, where you can like get this guard, I think, that we just fought, Captain Crom Crush, and then there is another ogre that you could get, which I think is another one of the bosses in here. But the other stage was like the final boss of Dire Maul West, I think, basically, and then I forget the third stage, or I guess it was like technically the first stage. I haven't played that game in a long time. But this is the final boss here. Rawr, me smash orcs, and you know, challenge me scrubs. I'm the king now, and I stay king forever. Observer shield. Brightly glowing stone. Bracers of prosperity. Another pretty basic offhand. And we got Mizzle the Crafty there. Did I talk to him to turn in this quest? So I'm keen of the Gordok now. So I can run around here. I feel like this was the final wing. But it says first here. It's Emilthar the second, and then Arisen the third. I'll just go Dire Maul East next. You can run out of here the old-fashioned way. New Stone Maul Horde. Tribute gun. Well, that's kind of a cool looking rifle skin. Or what did we get off the drops? We got the Monstrous Glaive, which this is really cool. Cool polearm skin. And then the Observer's Shield. Do I survive this? I do survive that. Let's go. Okay, back to Dire Maul. Commons? Is that what it's called? Whatever the center of the city is. The Keen of the Gordok buff is nice. I feel like there's like something that you need it for, like a specific quest. So you have to like finish the dungeon to do the quest because you go talk to like an ogre or something. I remember, I think it's this wing of Dire Maul where you can regain reputation with the Steam Weedle Cartel if you like kill all the Steam Weedle Cartel to like get Bloodsail Buccaneer reputation or whatever. You can come here to do something. I forget what the something is, but you can come here to do it. So this was the ogre wing of Dire Maul, where I feel like a lot of like the outside stories related to Dire Maul is kind of like ogre based, where the other two wings are very different. So the next one, which is Dire Maul East, I think is very, very plant-based, which is cool. And I remember doing that one recently. I think I did the entrance of it, like up to the first boss with my Undead Warlock. And then I didn't do anything else in there. 20 dungeon quests completed. And we unlocked that new collection item. It's kind of interesting how they've like accelerated some of the systems introduced into Cataclysm, like the collection systems, but then they've also just like completely disregarded like some other systems that used to exist back in the day. Go through here into Dire Maul East, where I think this is a bit of a longer dungeon. Ambassador Dagthol. I don't think I want to pick up the quests. There are 5 different quests we could do in here, but I think that's okay. I just run through here and kill all the bosses. Where we see right off the bat, there are a ton of nature enemies. You can see like an old high elf statue right there. So I think we need to run around that outer edge first. Having this Howling Blast is so nice to do old school dungeons. You can just clear right through all the enemies. Yeah, what are the first raids with Cataclysm? So we got Buried and Hold, and then we have Throne of the Four Winds, and we have Blackwing Descent, which of course I remember. Nefarian's End is interesting because we have Nefarian and Onyxia. But then I feel like Oh yeah, Bastion Twilight. That was the first raid tier. With Cho'Gath. Which I think the heroic version has a, yeah, Sinestra at the end of it. Which is cool. A special final heroic boss. Okay. Is this a back entrance? Or does that lead to a completely brand new area? I remember this staircase up here for some reason. Do we run this way? Yeah, it is. Where there are quite a few satyrs in here. And then I think the boss is above us. Is it a satyr boss? Yeah, I think I remember like killing this boss for whatever reason. Can run down there. So I think we come kill the boss and then run down there afterwards. Oh, that's a high elf boss. That's right. Quadoi Channeling Rod. Pimgiv the Imp. You have this staff here. It's a decent staff for spellcasters from back in the day. Of course, it's just a nice 2 gold for us right now. So now we have 3 bosses in here. One of these must be a satyr boss. And then we just progress all the way over there. And then is this the end? Okay, what do we got right here? So we got small frogs. Cute. And then my poor eyeballs. Okay, smoldering brazier. Fell lash. Is this doesn't have the health of a boss. Oh yeah, there's just normal mobs. Where I guess we can run this way really quickly. Where yeah, just up and around here I think. To get on top of this platform for a boss. Now this is kind of crazy because I remember doing this a lot like way back in the day, but it's just been like so long now that like I really have like not a lot of memory when it comes to like this area, where I guess this is towards the next spot. Oh no. Okay. You have to go, okay, that makes significantly more sense. Over to the northern end. So back across this entire area I just ran across. But I think running through Dire Maul kind of encapsulates what Cataclysm is to me. Where like it's not necessarily like a super enjoyable experience, but it's fun from like a nostalgia point of view to just like explore all these places again and to like think back about when you did it like the first time, but to also just like take in the sights. Okay, now we're up here. Zevrim Thornhoof. You're the satyr boss I've been looking for. Let's fight you. And then there's another boss, I think down on the floor over there, but it might be spawned somehow. Oh, Old Ironbark. Oh, he's in the central area, yeah. So I think this smoldering brazier. Oh, Hydra spawn. Are you a boss? I don't think so. Maybe. You just dropped a boss item. Okay, that must be the boss right there. So we got these gloves, and then we got this two-handed axe. Here is old iron bark with a bunch of treants just running around. I kind of remember this guy. Can chat with him. We need him to open the door. Is Zevram the satyr we just fought? Okay. As you wish. Oh, he's hauling it across here. I do kind of like to think about like what this place like used to be like way back in the day. Of course, I don't think it's ever been like fully conceptualized in like any capacity of the game or media, but it's like, you know, in the lore, where we know this was like once a big like pinnacle of highborn society. So he's just bashing down the door. And you broke it. Run through into a hallway where it looks like there's a shortcut back out to the central area here, which is beneficial for my endeavors. But I think this is the final boss of the dungeon, and I completely forgot who this boss is or what he looks like. So we can experience that. The Shrine of Eldrathar. So I think the exit is way down here and with the boss. So let's go down this ramp here where there's a bunch of thorns all around here. And then if you peek in right there, Arisen the Wild Shaper, just another satyr. Okay, that kind of rings a bell from back in the day. Let's fight you. And this will be the second of 3 bosses for this entire dungeon. 3 distinct wings. And there you go. Energized chest plate. And Arisen's minions just pouring out of here. That's kind of cool where... Oh, why are they attacking me? That's kind of cool how this like entryway like opened up when the boss died. Okay, let's take a look at this energetic rod. And then energized chest plate, which I have the tabard on right now. Reset that. Pretty basic. Rich thorium veins. I guess I'll mine these. I'm not sure what the economy is like, but getting some gold would be nice if these sell for a decent amount. Got some dent stone, and we got an arcane crystal, which must sell for at least a little bit. I mean, worst case scenario, sells for 20 silver, the thorium ore for 22.5 silver, 27.5 of the dent stone. The dent stone was the most expensive thing I got from those 2 veins. That's kind of weird. Worth more in total than the thorium that I collected. Or should I get rid of 2 of these? It's the same price as the thorium. Okay, I can drop down here. There's some Gordok Ogre mages in there. And we are back here, where the entrance to the eastern part is just up here. This area is called the Maul. Broken Commons. Oh, the Maul is like this fighting pit. That's fun. Okay, Dire Maul West, the final of 3 wings in this area. And we got some highborns, the Shindralar Ancient and the Cursed Remains. So it looks like 2 bosses over here. So we just have to get over there. Which after Dire Maul did Mauradon, Risen from Downs, Crawl, Waiting Cavern, the Shadowfang Keep, Scarlet Monastery, Sunken Temple. Did Nomergon, Black Fallen Deeps, Ragefire. So I need to do Stratholme at some point, and I need to do Ultimate at some point. And then Zul'Farrak, Blackrock Depths, the 2 Blackrock places, which I might save those for special Blackrock Mountain stream. So we have Tendrous Warpwood, whom I remember being a bot. Oh, I just got teleported and rooted. Shindralar, Wisp, House of Shindralar, Warpwood Bindings. So I think we can go through that door. An Ancient Equine Spirit. Oh, all of these protectors are coming for me. Oh, all of these protectors are... Oh, I'm getting... Oh, no. I mean, surely you don't die in a dungeon. That's a level 40 dungeon when you're level 80, right? Let's come around here. Because it looks like there's a boss over there. And then I kind of remember there being like a special highborn area. I see Eldrith Spectre. Oh yeah, and here... Is it? Oh. Wait, I'm so confused. Okay, I think it's in here. I'm not sure how the map works. But we got Magister Calindris. But yeah, we had Dire Maul North, which focused a lot on ogres. And then Dire Maul East that focused a lot on like satyrs and plants. And then we have Dire Maul West that really focuses on like the ancient aspects of like Dire Maul. And how it used to be like a big highborn city. Magically sealed bracers. Oh, we have a rare mob right here. That's nice. We got threadbare trousers. I already have that collection skin. Yeah, with Cataclysm, just a lot of UI changes that kind of caught me off guard. I think this is really buggy right now. Like sometimes it's like spinning around when you open your character screen. But of course the reputation panel has changed a lot. And then the currency panel changed a tiny bit. We'll see with like just new currencies with the introduction of justice points. Okay, we're back up here now. Wish this is way above where we were before. So there must be the boss over here, which I see this beast right there. Which this must be the boss. Just a ton of ghostly highborn all around here. Is this like protective generators or whatever, similar to Quathlos? Eliana Ravenoak and Farah. Padre's trousers. Another trousers. Okay, so I think those are all the bosses there. So I think we could just drop down potentially. At least, okay. I always feel like I'm gonna die whenever I drop down. But we can see a really cool skybox there, or thing in the sky, or whatever. Okay, I have to run around. Just meander over here really quickly, and then we can drop down here. Alright, I think we can go through this door, which might take us to that highborn area I was thinking of, and then that's going to lead to the last boss, I think. Or there might be another boss on the way there. Come through here. Where this is leading to the final boss of the dungeon, but it's showing another boss after the final boss. So there might be like a bonus boss or something going on. This is the Capital Gardens, but of course the prison of Imothar, housing Imothar, where I feel like this is such an iconic location. Like this is such a cool, awesome, incredible looking area, and then like a really like sick looking like final boss for a dungeon. We have to do something to get into here. We have to kill all of the arcane elementals around here. Okay, that's one of them. Are we gonna have to go back out to the gardens to get this out there? I feel like we may have to. But let's just get these 3 first and we'll see if that's enough. Who do I have here? Oh, it's not showing me my reputation on the bar. That's weird. I have it showing as shows experience bar, but I can't hover over it. If I do that, remove it and then bring it back here, still kind of, so you can't hover over it in Cataclysm, or is it just a bug? But yeah, all the bugs with this pre-patch is very interesting to like see and to experience. Where like I crashed a lot earlier, but like the whole weird experience thing with like Warsaw Goach is just wild. And they did disable Warsaw Goach, and they do have like a maintenance tomorrow morning, which might be an attempt to fix it. Okay, so we destroyed those 2. Does that bring down? Nope, it does not. Okay, I have a sneaking suspicion we're gonna have to go back out into the gardens because I completely forgot that was a thing. So the entrance is over here. I don't think we have to kill the residual monstrosity. So let's make our way back out here, where I saw 3 of them around and about. I just killed that wisp. I kind of feel bad. I didn't mean to kill the wisp. But they're just poor dead night elves. Just hanging around, trying to enjoy their unlife or whatever. Court of the Highborn. Okay. So I'm gonna have to go back up top, I think. But there's also one over here. So I guess as you progress through this area, you're supposed to be killing all of the arcane elementals. So this is like the entrance. So I think there's only one here. And then there's 2 up there. Okay, so that one's destroyed. Okay, so I'll just make my way back over here, where I only see the one, and it looks like it's centered, so it's not alluding to there being another one right there. I don't remember doing this like way back in the day, but I'm sure it's kind of like, you know, every group just knows you need to kill them on your way through, so it just happens. and you don't really think about it. Plus, like, naturally, your average group is probably clearing a lot of the dungeon anyways. So it probably just happens. A few more ghosts around here. Where there is another entrance right here. Is this the faster way to go? Oh yeah, if I had just gone this way, I would have gotten to the staircase much faster. Oh well, oh well. We now know for next time, which this might be the final time I ever come through Dire Maul in my entire life. Which is actually probably not an exaggeration. I feel like I'm just exploring at this time and probably never going to come through here again. Let's kill arcane aberrations. Skeletal highborns. That one's taken care of. Oops. Okay, so we have the one over here, which I think is the final one. We'll see if that's actually the case. Shindralar Ancient. Rotting Highborn, Skeletor Highborn. The demon is loose. Quickly, we must restrain him. So I guess that was the last one. So let's drop down here. And then I'm going to have to run all the way back down there again. I might throw some of the classic dungeons in my Let's Play series as well. Kind of what I did with the 3 Season of Discovery dungeons. Could do that with like Zul'Farrak and Skullomance and Strathholm maybe. And then we could do a Blackrock Mountain stream. Or I need to see which dungeons are available in the retail WoW version of the game in Blackrock Mountain. Oh, they're fighting Emilthar and he's at like 96% health. Look at these ghosts go. They all have like 200 health and die in one hit, but they've gotten some work done. So, oh, I was about to say let's tag off of their success, but he just reset. Right, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 eyes. Very cool. I'm sure hunters in Season of Discovery want to tame this guy. Oh, he is a demon, unlike core hounds, which are beasts. I mean, I'm sure hunters in general would want to tame him. An Eye of Imulthar. Those eyes of Imulthar in Warcraft Rumble are so annoying. But there's Imulthar. We got nothing too cool looking, I think. Got a necklace and a trinket, so we can't even look at them. That's cool. Getting trinkets in vanilla is always fun. Increase your dodge rating by 19. Must be good for like a tank or for a rogue, maybe. But that Imulthar is the final boss of Dire Maul. King Gordok Imulthar and Alzin, the Wild Shaper. Where we have like a little bonus area here with a bunch of like high elf, or not high elf, highborn stuff going on. Where we have some living House of Shindralar here, unlike all of the undead ones that were all around this area. Where I think there's like a couple of cool NPCs you can talk to, and there's also prince over there who is the ruler. Actually, I'm not entirely sure why we can't kill him, but we can. Let's go find him. Lore Keeper. They've been stolen, Orc. 3 of our most prized volumes. Should you return the tomes, a reward will most certainly be yours. We can repair here. Let's run this way. And let's open up a page. Wow, Prince Tortheldrin. Loyal servant to Queen Ajara. He maintained control over the surviving Shindalar after the Well of Eternity's destruction by imprisoning a demon in the ruins of Elder Thalas and letting his subjects siphon its strength. The exposure to demonic power twisted Tortheldrin's mind, and when the creature faltered, the prince ordered the deaths of many of his vassals, so only he and his most fanatical followers would be left to enjoy the corrupt energy. There's some bonus stuff here. And I'll just throw that wiki link in the chat for anyone who wants to read all of the things about this random lore character right here. So overall, an evil person, I think. And one final hit. I like his dual glaives. And then, oops, dagger. Mind Carver has been added to your appearance collection. Where I wish we had the appearance collection during the entirety of World of Warcraft's lifespan, because I think there's a lot of items in retail that I've like collected at one point or another, and I just don't have in my retail collection. Not that collecting all the items really matters too much, but still, it's kind of fun. Let's sell all this stuff. Got Runtum tubers. Tribute gun. That's right. Core of the Elements is a trash item now in Cataclysm. I feel like it's such an iconic item from Vanilla. Probably not really that iconic anyways. Chandrilar Zealots. The Lord Keeper is an ancient. He has served under our glorious queen. Your glorious queen, who is now a Naga and evil. Well, technically she was always evil, right? But that is Dire Maw completed. Where I kind of want to go do the Zulfrak dungeon. So maybe we'll go do that. Could do Odoman in like a Titan nostalgia trip playthrough. What other Titan facilities are there other than Odoman and ODR? Oh, there's... I guess there's technically 2 in Cataclysm, right? We have the Ancient City of the Tovir. Is that the name of one of them? Lost City of the Tovir. And then we have Halls of Origination, which especially the Halls of Origination are... Where am I? A Titan storyline. Okay, I just ran all the way through here. And I'm at what looks like a dead end. Which I don't think this is intentional. I think, yeah, we're supposed to run through there. But I don't see a lever anywhere. Well, maybe I'll do Zulfrak another time. I kind of don't want to fly all the way back from Orgrimmar. So let's go back to Dalaran. We're running through all these dungeons. Is always fun. I enjoy a little bit of a nostalgia trip here and there. Mauradon and Dire Maw are definitely lengthy dungeons, and it's nice to go through the brand new Shadowfang Keep and the brand new Deadmines. But to basically summarize the Cataclysm pre-patch, at least the first day of the pre-patch, we'll see how it evolves. It seems like it was overall kind of just a messy experience for a lot of people so far, at least, where the beta for Cataclysm was very, very interesting because it was very, very buggy with like a lot of issues, and a lot of people are upset that like the game kind of released in this state, I guess, which on one hand I don't really care about too much, but because it's like a 15-year-old game and it doesn't seem too bad, but on the other hand it is kind of weird for like paid for product that you like pay a subscription for, and then also like people pay for like the cosmetic like $50 packs or whatever, which I am not doing. But for those people, it's definitely weird that like this pre-patch like released in this way, and I feel like it's kind of setting like a bad precedent for like Cataclysm as a whole, where a lot of people are like, well, nobody's going to play Cataclysm, so it doesn't really matter, and it's definitely probably going to be significantly less popular than like every version of Classic WoW before this one. But still, there's going to be some people playing it. Like, I'm just here to do like some nostalgia trips and whatnot, where I'm not really interested in this expansion at all compared to like Wrath of the Lich King and like the Burning Crusade. I'm kind of just here to like talk about like how the game evolves and to kind of go down memory lane a little bit. But for people who like genuinely enjoy Cataclysm and like want to play through like everything, it is definitely very, very frustrating for those people that there's like a ton of issues with the game, where like I haven't disconnected at all this evening, which is a good thing, but I disconnected like 15 times earlier today, which is definitely frustrating. And I'm still frustrated by like the server changes, because like Old Blanchie is a server that's being like shut down and characters are being force transferred off the server, where I have like two, I don't know if you can call it like a prestigious name, but like very, very like sought after names on that server, which like I'm just losing because I'm having to transfer to a brand new server, and I've had those characters for like 5 years now, and I played them for like 5 years, and it's kind of just sad and frustrating in its own right. But like I understand like server condensing and whatnot, but I feel like that's probably frustrating for a lot of people and disappointing for a lot of people. But then we have like the whole like battleground like player versus player bug that happened today, where for people who don't know, basically with the pre-patch, players could go into Warsong Gulch and they could level from level 10 to like level 65 in a single Warsong Gulch battle, which is insane. Can we teleport here? Level 85. Where like a flag cap would give like 10 levels, and then finishing like the battleground would give you like 40 levels or something like that. It's just absolutely bonkers, and it's kind of crazy that like that's like made it to the live game. But of course there's always bugs and issues with like every like service and like game release and like update release and whatnot. But I think a lot of people are just frustrated by like the immense amount of bugs present in Cataclysm Classic, and then of course people are like, what does it matter, nobody cares, nobody's going to play Cataclysm anyways. And like I'm not someone who ever really gets frustrated by bugs, but like there's a lot of people that are like really, really upset about like the state of like this pre-patch, and like definitely I understand where they're coming from, and I think it's definitely like a very not great experience overall compared to like a lot of other game releases, but whatever. Still overall enjoyable, where I don't think I came across too many issues as we were playing through this stream, where we were in Shadowfang Keep and there was no like voiced dialogue lines from like all the bosses and whatnot, which is kind of an issue, where there was in like Deadmines. And then there is a wide variety of UI issues we experienced in the stream, where I can't hover over the reputation bar. If you look at the bottom bar here, we can see that the customer support icon is being covered up by the keyring icon, and it's kind of hard to like click on like either of those, which I guess in one way it's kind of funny that the customer support button is getting covered up. But then like I think the character panel here is really, really buggy. Oh, I haven't even checked this out yet. I think the professions page is an atrocious bug right now, where it is perfectly flawless for me. But a lot of people were having a ton of issues with like this, where like some of these like skills right here, like your engineering and like toughness and whatnot, were like replaced by like your class skills, and then they were like completely out of order, where like the cooking ones would be under first aid. So it seems to be good for me right now, but I saw a lot of screenshots of it being messed up for a lot of people, which is just another one of a lot of bugs present. Where I think, where is it? Oh, the dungeon journal is super, super messed up, where I'm pretty sure it's supposed to show like all the dungeons and raids in the game, but it's only showing Cataclysm ones right now. And then this UI is just horrible right here. And then it's like only showing like part of like each of like the sections. Like it's showing that there's no loot for this boss. So just a lot of UI issues and stuff, which again isn't something that really bothers me too much, but it's definitely a massive lack of polish for the game, where I have this axe skin too. That's cool. But overall, I'm excited to continue through Cataclysm, and not to play like too intensely, but to just go on a bunch of nostalgia trips throughout the game. And I'm excited to experience some different aspects again from a very casual point of view, and to just play through the game casually, where I had fun this stream. And I hope everyone enjoyed watching the stream, and I think I'm going to go ahead and call it good for tonight, where I'll go through the description and update like table of contents and stuff. And I think with that, we can hang out with Garage here, and I'm going to call it a night, where I hope y'all are taking good care of yourselves. And if you're not subscribed, feel free to subscribe, and you can go ahead and like the stream and VOD as well. And I hope y'all are taking good care of yourselves. Have a good night.